Hi everyone, and welcome back to Abundantly Minimal. My name is Sarah, and today we're talking about 12 different decluttering projects you can do in 10 minutes or less. So I encourage you to check them out and try some today. Before we get started, 2 quick updates or announcements. First of all, thank you so much for everyone who suggested different plants to try out in my most recent video. I haven't had a chance yet to purchase any of them, so we just have our trusty snake plant here. I know it's not the optimal angle, I guess, for the video shot, but I figured it was better than nothing. And I'm really trying to get better on the background or aesthetics. So this is actually a poster of one of the sites Jake and I really enjoyed while we were traveling in Iceland. It is in Vik, Iceland, and the black sand beaches there. We technically did not take this exact photo. Mine did not quite look as good, but I figured it's better than a blank wall, and I always welcome your feedback as I try to figure out this different filming setup. Update number 2, which is super exciting because it's something new. I actually was meeting with people over at Google to try to set this up. I'm an official beta tester for a new program called Qaya, and it's super, super cool. It's not available yet everywhere or to everyone. It's currently only available in the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. So I apologize if you are outside those regions, but it's going to be coming soon to more people as well. But it's a really cool opportunity for creators to create a bit of a storefront for themselves, as well as house their free resources, all their links to different social platforms all in one place and connected to Google and YouTube. I know for me, something I love about it is that everything can be in one place, because it can be kind of difficult to have all these different links in different places. I have a separate program to sell my ebooks. I've got a separate program to sell my courses. There are separate programs I use to be able to get free resources to you, such as my 10-step guide to start your decluttering journey. But I'm so happy that it's all in one place. And even better, coming up, I'll be able to actually link some of these different resources and freebies right into like the YouTube page itself. So you don't even have to go searching for links. They'll be right there, and it, I think, will be a much more organized option. So if you'd like to take a look at it, I have my newly set up Qaya link below, and on it you can find 3 of my freebies, including some that I haven't advertised or talked about in a while. So you can check out those freebies. I've got my ebooks on there, as well as a few things I've actually never sold before as standalone resources and decluttering guides. They've always been maybe a bonus for somewhere else, and I'm so excited to have them all in one organized place. So that is linked below, and I encourage you to check it out. But without further ado, let's start talking about these 12 decluttering projects you can do in 10 minutes or less. A really great one to start out has to do with your digital clutter, and that is specifically either or both the desktop of your device as well as any bookmarks you have. I actually recently went through and did my bookmark updating, and it's amazing how we might set these bookmarks, every so often, but as our circumstances change, they may no longer be relevant. Using bookmarks on whatever your preferred browser is a great way to save time and can avoid you needing to manually type something out or getting sidetracked from something else. So to do this, I just went through my existing bookmarks, removed anything that no longer seemed as relevant or as important, and made sure that all of my most important bookmarks were at the front and easily accessible for myself. And this can be a great way to organize your digital space and just make things easier for yourself. We want to simplify our digital space just like we simplify our in-person space. Another quick decluttering project to try would be to go through your medicine cabinet. See if there's anything that's expired, anything that's outdated or didn't work for you. There's no point in keeping it. Sometimes we just don't want to let go of items, even if they didn't work for us. But who's to say that it's going to start working better, 6 months after you gave it a try or a year after you tried it the first time? A lot of these products, they either work or they don't. And if they don't work, you're going to have to get rid of them anyway. So you could always look for an alternative use, but don't feel shame in letting go of any of these items that didn't work. It also could be a great chance to reflect about is the medicine cabinet, or whichever storage opportunity you're using for these belongings, is that the most effective location? There are certain products or medications that actually shouldn't be, in a very hot and steamy shower environment where the quality of the product could be affected. So it's important to reflect about that. And we've actually used our linen closet for some of these items just to keep them safe. So totally up to you and your space, but those could be a quick couple things to look for, 10 minutes or less. Another great decluttering project idea is to look at surfaces, but specifically, let's start with a coffee table. What is actually out on the coffee table, and does it need to be there? For some, the coffee table can just gradually build clutter and accumulate clutter, and most of those items don't need to be out or don't belong there. So let's take some time, check it over, remove items that don't belong, and maybe you can reduce the amount of stuff that stays out there every time. Sometimes we become clutter blind, where we have items there that we don't see anymore because we're just so used to them. They've faded into the background. And it might be nice to switch things up, remove some of those items, and see how the space makes you feel, or if you like having less out on the coffee table. So this can be a great project to try, but don't worry. If you don't have a coffee table, just pick a different surface or counter in your space. Next up, going through the fridge or freezer is a great project, and I recommend doing this a bit before you're going to be cooking or making your next meal. Sometimes I have a little use it up meal where we're trying to find random ingredients that may have shifted to the back of the fridge or freezer, or things that I want to use up before they go bad, and putting them together in even a random dinner can be a great option. If you're unsure about what to do, many savory foods taste great in a stir fry or in a pasta of sorts, so I encourage you to be a little creative. Also, if you have like one or two very specific ingredients you're trying to use up, you could search for recipes that have those ingredients in them. That would give you options and some creative inspiration about what you might want to use and trying to use up other ingredients that are on hand. Another great option for a quick decluttering project is to go through your purse or your everyday carry. I know for me, I need to go through my purse about once a month. I love it. It's got all these different pockets, and it's a great size for me to fit a variety of different items, and depending on what I'm needing to bring, I can fit a water bottle. I love it, but if I don't go through it about once a month, it can get pretty jumbled up with different items, grocery receipts, maybe some garbage from different snacks, or really anything else. So definitely taking the time to make a quick pass over your items there and cleaning that out would be great. And of course, if you don't have a purse, go through your wallet or a backpack, whatever you're using every day when you leave the house. Going through clothing can certainly be a challenge, but one way to sort of get yourself started on clothing decluttering that helps us avoid some of these attachments is the sock drawer. I always encourage people to start with the sock drawer because you're likely to not be as attached to these belongings, and it's a very easy way to sort through, whether these socks are still worn, still usable, if they've got pretty big holes, or they're just not in great shape, and you can declutter the ones that are no longer optimal. And I actually really like using old socks for different cleaning projects. You can actually, especially if it's a softer or like fuzzier sock, you can actually just stick your hand in it and use it as a duster, which is great. We use them regularly for that option. So I encourage you to give those a try, and who knows, maybe you'll be feeling a little bit more inspired to try a different clothing decluttering project after you're done. Project number 7, also a digital project, and this will vary a little bit depending on the person, but you can take 10 minutes to declutter maybe photos on your phone, any emails that you've received that are not valuable, or even text messages. These different files can really add up fast, and if we're not monitoring those on a regular basis, we may have hundreds or thousands even of emails and photos and text to go through. And I know for me even, something that I have found I guess a bit annoying, although it's ultimately good. I have a lot of extra security settings on many of my different accounts. So there's 2-factor authentication and whatnot. So I might log in on my computer, but then I get a text with my temporary code. And honestly, this is where I'm getting most of my messages from. Sometimes even, 5 of these come in every day if I'm logging into different accounts. So taking the time to go through those, if you've got emails, I encourage you to really be honest with yourself about if you're reading these emails, if you value emails from other people, unsubscribe from what you can. If some things still seem to keep sending even after you've unsubscribed, maybe mark them as spam, so they at least go into the spam folder and you don't really see them. And this overall just helps keep your digital environment much more manageable. Idea number 8 has to do with shower and bath products. Reflect about what you're actually using when you're washing your hair and, whatever soap and lotion and all of those that you prefer. If you've got some that you don't plan on using or they didn't work for you, again, holding on to it, just letting it take up valuable space in the shower or in the bathroom, wherever they're stored, isn't really a great option. You can look for alternative uses if you'd like, such as using conditioner as a shaving cream if it didn't work for your hair, but also just be mindful. And we can even organize these products based upon how often we use them, so everything is easily accessible and convenient for us. Idea number 9 is to do a bit of a seasonal swap. Now, in a 10-minute timeline, you're probably not going to have time to switch out every seasonal thing, but you could use this as a chance to switch out seasonal shoes. Put away the winter shoes and get out the spring and summer shoes. Maybe you switch out a few pieces of decor in your space that were more winter themed and now, spring or summer themed. And likewise, you could do this for some of your clothing items or jackets. Again, doing everything may take longer than 10 minutes, but you can at least get the ball rolling and start with a very specific type of seasonal items. Decluttering project number 10 is to look over different printable materials you have, such as coupons or different magazines or catalogs. Sometimes we accumulate more and more of these different paper products without also going through them and removing the ones that are no longer valuable or expired. So I encourage you, if you haven't looked at either coupons or savings, catalogs, magazines, whatever the case, look through those now. And you might be thinking, oh, I don't want to let go of this just in case I want to read it later. I always challenge myself if I've got these different documents. I try to schedule, taking a look at it the next day or two. And if I'm not even willing to sit down and look at it then, why would I save it for later? It also might be a nice comfort knowing that most of the things that you might be getting printed copies for can probably be found online if you really wanted to look for it. So I encourage you to let go of some of these different paper products. Maybe these were even some of the items that were laying out on your coffee table from before. Idea number 11 for a 10-minute decluttering project can be to tidy up a junk drawer or basically some sort of area or part of your home where there are a bunch of miscellaneous items. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with having a junk drawer if the items are very purposeful or if they're not necessarily all fitting together, but it's just the best place for things. If you can easily access everything and it's not too crowded and cramped, I think that can be very useful. And I know some spaces, especially in smaller spaces, may depend upon that. But if you just have so much random stuff in a certain drawer, it's packed, you don't know what's there or how much you have, that would be a great spot to start. If you do have a very overcrowded and chaotic junk drawer, I'd encourage you to see if you can pull out, let's say, even 10 of the items in there that maybe could be gotten rid of, dealt with, or moved to a more strategic location. So definitely give that a try. Of course, sometimes it helps to empty out the whole drawer and put things back, but I do know that that would probably take longer than 10 minutes to do it that way. But still could definitely be worth the effort to optimize this section of your home. The last idea here is actually more about prevention, and that is to set a clutter trap. Now, you might be thinking, what's a clutter trap? A clutter trap can be some sort of container, basket, bin, tray, really flexible, where you set it in a certain area, and that clutter trap is where you're going to set items that do need to stay out. A good example could be a little bowl or tray where you keep your everyday essentials, such as your keys, maybe your phone, or other required items that you take in and out with you. Maybe some people would use a clutter trap for their jewelry. I know one clutter trap that I used to use was having my diffuser and the related essential oils on my bedroom dresser there. I have since gotten a humidifier, and so I don't have those in the space anymore, but keeping them there meant the rest of the dresser could be more open and the items were in one spot. You can even do the same thing in your kitchen and have certain counters as the designated clutter trap, where you store the items you keep out all in one place, and then you keep the other counters completely empty, so you've got lots of open cooking space. This can really look very different in everyone's home, but that is another option. So we talked about a lot of different decluttering projects today. I encourage you to give one a try, even right after you watch this video, and let me know what you were able to let go of in the comments below. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, remember that I've got some new decluttering freebies and cool tools or ebooks available at my new Qaya store, which is linked below. I know that at this point it is only available for US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, so if that doesn't yet apply to you, I'm sorry, but I know it's going to be coming soon, and I'll let you know when it continues to expand. And if you're new to the channel, you can go ahead and subscribe up here or check out another video over here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.